Okay, so we're going to talk about impact. Now, impact is arguably the hardest thing for golfers to change. And the reason why it's the hardest thing for golfers to change is because, well, it's the way that your brain is hardwired, how it thinks it should hit the golf ball. And two, it's happening at a really fast time. You know, the impact area itself is happening faster than we can produce consciousness. So it becomes more of a reactional thing, okay? And that's why if some of you are a bit flicky, and sometimes even with things like short game shots, you feel like you're a little bit sort of, you know, the term yippy, a lot of that is a reaction. So sometimes the reaction is the thing that's actually helping you not do something silly. So the impact area is sort of complicated, do you know what I mean? Like if you're somebody who's sort of scooping the golf ball, and your club head's overtaking your hands and you're trying to get your hands forward, but you're not really creating space and pivoting your body very well, then your brain won't really let you do that because you would end up hitting a disastrously bad golf shot. And that's what you tend to see with golfers down the range. I see it all the time here at Four Ashes, where golfers are trying to rehearse doing things like shaft lean, but in truth, unless you're actually rotating your body correctly, that would never materialize. And that's why I prioritize talking a lot about good posture, good backswing, good initiation to the downswing, because if you can get those things, your impact will improve as a byproduct anyway. But nevertheless, I do think impact is an important area to be able to build a better level of understanding. Now, I think out of today, what I wanted to do is I wanted to talk about the relationship with the club face, because we've talked a lot about the release recently, and I've kind of said, look, we're going to talk about this club face position, and that's something we're going to do with driver as well in an upcoming video. And I feel like the best exercise to do this, and it's a really simple one, is just to do some swings lead arm only. Now, with reference to developing and making swing changes, and the reason why I tend to get good swing changes with people that I teach, I like to think, and also with people online, is because I'm always encouraging them to video stuff they're doing so they can be self-reflective of it. And what I'll tend to do is I'll tend to say, look, just go and make a few swings. Don't have to be perfect swings, but try and make a few swings lead arm only, okay, with a golf club of your choice. And what you'll tend to find, and if you're somebody who might struggle for the strength to do this, then I'd probably suggest it's still a very worthwhile exercise, but maybe purchase like a little junior club, something you can do at home, or even maybe something more lightweight so you can practice this. And what tends to happen is, because the lead arm is a little more sort of freewheeling, which basically, if you think about it, if I pause here, my trail arm can't keep up with that, okay? So especially if I don't rotate, so if I'm here and a bit here, that's why you look this way. So when you start doing a few swings lead arm only, you're definitely going to feel much more sort of liberated. Now, where you can go wrong with that feeling, and the reason why that doesn't necessarily change immediately when you go and hit a golf shot, is because you do have to focus on the club face. So most golfers that are scoopy are like this, and that's why then they do things like this to try and get the club face square. Obviously I'm dramatising. Whilst all of a sudden, if you start to feel more this way, it'll feel great. You'll be like, oh, my chest is at the target, my head's up, look at all this width, look at my body, perfect. But you have to keep your eye on the club face position. Okay, as the video themselves doing this, I'll often kind of bring it down, I'll pause them about here, and I'll go, great, you've got the hands forward, but look where your club face is. You need to understand the importance of either forearm or even upper arm, whole arm, but I'm going to talk about the forearm. You need to understand the importance of rotating that forearm, because rotating that forearm, it brings the hand path back in and it rotates the club face back to square. So if I do that from a sidearm perspective, just so you can see, golfers will tend to do this. That will obviously never work. That's why you need to understand the importance of that arm rotation. So I think, you know, a little bit like a tennis sort of backhand analogy, or like I said, if you're at home and you want to do this, grab yourself a more lightweight golf club, something that you feel that you'd be able to do with. So this is like a little kind of junior 9-iron that I'll get golfers to have a little swing with when they're here having a session. And like I say, they'll tend to get the shaft lean, but they'll leave the face wide open. And then the brain will go, well, if I did that, it'd go over there. So the only way I know how to hit it straight is to do this. And you're back to square one again. And then all of a sudden, this exercise seems like a waste of time. Whilst what I'm saying is, no, do the left arm only exercise or the lead arm only exercise, but just make sure that you're actually incorporating that rotation of the arm to get the club face square as well. It's a really important exercise that you do, because then once you start to get the feeling of what that lead arm is doing, then your trail arm will start to respond well, and you might just find that instead of thinking about all these different positions, starting to do an exercise like that is quite liberating and really beneficial. See you guys again soon.